Morning. Ron Suarez here with the Kai's Company in Stuart, Florida, part of the Ronelli team. And today I'd like to talk to you about something that maybe you do know, maybe you don't know. It's called the portability cap, and that's towards your homestead rebate. So in January 2008, Floridians passed an amendment to the Save Our Homes initiative, which allowed Floridians to be able to transfer the cap or the difference between the assessed value and the just value of your property. And it was done, not to penalize the Florida homeowners who leave their homestead and they wanted to preserve their cap, moving to a new property. And also to encourage the sale of residences to those who might otherwise not want to give up that tax advantage that they have. Now remember, a homestead rebate allows for only a 3% increase in your taxes year over year. That could be substantial depending on the ups and downs of the market, correct? So there's some ground rules to it. And the first ground rule would be that it only applies to homestead changes after 2007, okay? At least one owner has to be in the new homesteaded property, okay? The cap is limited to $500,000. So the difference between your just value and your tax assessed value can only be applied $500,000, okay? The value of the property doesn't matter. It's just as long as that cap falls within those numbers, okay? And finally, you have to fill out what's called the DR 501T form, which is available with your local tax appraiser or tax appraiser's office or even online, okay? Now, the calculations or the computations for figuring out what that cap is are pretty simple. And for ease, we're gonna keep simple numbers, okay? Now, say for instance, you have a just value of $250,000. Okay, now that's a couple in a property. Your just value is $250,000. Okay, and your assessed value is $200,000. That gives you a cap of $50,000, right? So if you're moving up to a new home and that new home has an increase in value, say it's $300,000, the cap that you apply to that $300,000, $50,000. Now your total assessed value is $250,000, right? You're taking that $50,000 cap from your old property and you're moving it over to the new property that has a $300,000 just value, and now your total assessed value is at $250,000. Not so bad, right? Nice little savings there of $50,000, and that's before any of the homesteading rebate that you get. Now that's another story, right? You get another $50,000 with that, right? So that's for an upsize. Pretty simple with the upsize. Now, let's say if you're downsizing your property and say you have a property that you're going to that's worth more and you're moving to a property that actually has a just value that's a little less or a lot less, okay? Can you still apply it? Well, certainly. So what you do in that situation is you would take the percent, right? So say for instance, I have a $400,000 house. My cap is, or my assessed value is $300,000. That cap's $100,000, right? That $100,000 cap is 25% of the total value of the property, right? Okay. So on the new house, right, that you're going to, say the new house has a value of $100,000. Well, you would take the 25% and apply it to that 100,000, right? And now that has an assessed value of 75,000, right? Pretty simple. So now you're just taking that amount, figuring out the percentage, and applying it to the lower value property. All right, awesome, right? Now, what happens if your homesteaded property has only one of the occupants of the homesteaded property is moving to the new property? Well, you would take that amount of money and you would take it and you would reduce that by 50%. So say, for instance, in our equation that we just had, so that was 25%, right, of that amount. So now which would come out to 75,000. In this case, it would be 12.5%. Okay? Makes sense, right? Now, this portability cap has been made for our homeowners here in Florida to enjoy that tax benefit without losing what they've built up in their old property. Now, remember, some of the caveats that you need to fill out that DR 501T form, okay? The cap can't be more than 500,000. Now, you're not required to fill out all that paperwork. Your tax appraiser is going to do it, but it's just good that you know that. And make sure that if you're unsure about what your savings or what your costs are going to be, make sure you reach out to your local tax appraiser of the property that you're buying to make sure that, hey, is this applying to me? Now, I hope that that was beneficial to you, and I hope that I was able to explain it correctly. Please, any questions, reach out to your accountant or to your local tax appraiser's office. And thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a great weekend. Great talking to you.